This video is sponsored by Back Market. You know the worst thing about attending a tech briefing while you have pneumonia? It's not the shortness of breath, or the fact that your voice doesn't really work, as I'm sure you can hear. Rather, it's not knowing whether your vague sense of disappointment is thanks to the foam in your lungs or the phone in your hand. Well, I've had a few days to process my time with the Galaxy S20 Ultra, and I think I get it now. See, this really is one of the most advanced smartphones in the world, with a laundry list of compelling, practical benefits. But it comes in a package so conventional compared to the trailblazers Samsung is selling right alongside it, that you need to look harder to see what's really important about it. Fortunately, that's why we're here. I'm Mr. Mobile, and this is a first look at the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. So Samsung actually dropped 3 S20 series devices today. And if you want to know about the 2 lower-end models, visit my friends at Android Central for their coverage of the entire lineup. Me, I focused on the flagship, and there's plenty here to back up the Ultra name. First, this is a behemoth of a handheld. Remember how flummoxed I was by the size of the iPhone 11 Pro Max? Well, the S20 Ultra is taller, thicker, and nearly as heavy, and Samsung has made smart use of the extra space. First, it's packed in a Mammoth battery, 11% larger than last year's S10 5G and 16% larger than the battery in the Note 10 Plus. That's good because there are a lot of power-hungry components here, like a nearly 7-inch display that refreshes 120 times every second. If you watched my Razer Phone 2 review, you'll know the kind of effortless fluidity that refresh rate provides. It's one of those things that's tough to give up once you've experienced it. That has not been my experience with 5G so far. Frankly, I found it quite disappointing. Nevertheless, all 3 S20 models are 5G ready. The lower-end phone can only use the mid- and low-band networks, while the Ultra supports those and the high-band millimeter wave in North America and Japan. Now, if that's all sounding a little Greek to you, check out my hands-on test drive of both T-Mobile and Verizon 5G at the Mr. Mobile on YouTube. You'll hear what my voice sounds like when it's working properly, and please subscribe so you don't miss future videos. Samsung has always been big on specs, and what's refreshing about the S20 Ultra is that it builds on those bumps in a practical way. Not only is there a ton of RAM on board, but you can now make better use of it by forcing up to 5 apps to keep running in the background. There's also up to 512 gigs of storage with microSD expansion, a 25-watt charger in the box with an option to buy a 45-watt charger, and the usual wireless charging and wireless power share as well. All right. Now, how about that big dog tag on the back? Well, we're going to close out by climbing that mountain right after a word from my sponsor about buying more responsibly. Let's talk about e-waste for a second. All those smartphones I cover every week, well, it takes 10 liters of water to make each one of them. The tin, tantalum, tungsten, and gold inside, most of it comes from conflict zones. Fortunately, my sponsor Back Market has a simple solution. Make devices cleaner by making them last longer. Pre-owned items get refurbished by factories that Back Market cherry picks, and they're backed by a minimum 1-year warranty, so refurb doesn't have to be a dirty word. You buy it at a fair price, you see right up front what kind of warranty you're getting, and it gets shipped right to your door. Look, I still love my new tech, but if you want to help save the world and save some money while you're at it, give Back Market a look at the link in the description below. With a hump this husky, you've got to bring serious camera game. And Samsung says this is its biggest optical upgrade since 2016. It's built around a primary sensor with a resolution of 108 megapixels. For context, last year's Galaxy S10 used a camera with 12 megapixels. But it's important to note that that doesn't necessarily guarantee better results. The more pixels you pack onto a sensor, the harder it is to capture light, for one thing. So Samsung includes the option to switch to a binned 12-megapixel mode, which combines 9 pixels into 1. Only real-world testing will determine how well this actually works. Also included, a 12-megapixel camera for 120-degree ultra-wide shots, a time-of-flight camera for depth sensing, and something that may be familiar, a 48-megapixel telephoto camera mounted sideways to align with this rectangular prism here. Samsung calls it a space zoom camera, but you might remember first seeing it on the Huawei P30 Pro, that phone I used to take absolutely incredible photos in Paris last year. Samsung promises up to 10 times zoom with no loss in quality, and up to 100 times zoom if you max it out. Yeah, you heard me, 100 times. There's also 8K video recording, improved stabilization, and a selfie camera that once again focuses on the wrong thing, boosting resolution instead of offering a wider angle. That frustration aside, though, this is absolutely the most ambitious camera array Samsung has ever offered, and I'm eager to get it out into the real world. The phone will hit said real world on March 6th, with pre-orders opening February 21. And how much will the S20 Ultra run you? Brace yourself, just a buck shy of $1,400. Again, I'll be giving it a proper review, but you probably already know if you're the type who wants an S20 Ultra. If you're a function over form person who doesn't care that this is a very dull design with an even duller color scheme, you'll probably buy it for the specs and the features, which are prodigious. If you're someone like me, who's captivated by the new possibilities of foldable screens as we've seen on Galaxy Fold, Motorola Razr, and Galaxy Z Flip, you'll probably want to sock that $1,400 away for something that feels a little more 2020. Let me know what you think of the Galaxy S20 Ultra in the comments, folks, and again, please subscribe to the Mr. Mobile on YouTube so you don't miss my full review, hopefully with a working voice. This hands-on made possible by a media pre-briefing hosted by Samsung ahead of the Unpacked launch event. The company did not have input into the editorial content or approval over the final product, though. That means they're seeing this video for the first time right alongside you. Until next time, thanks for watching, and stay mobile, my friends.